Ladies and gentlemen, I will now bring on our next guest speaker, and with him, I don't know how to introduce him. He is one of my closest and dearest friends. We go way back. Funny story. So I was supposed to be at an event in Atlanta, and I didn't show up. Last minute, I canceled going, but my business partner went to the event. And this gentleman went and found my business partner and said, "Where's Anik? I need to find Anik." And, you know, we're a little used to hearing that, so my business partner was like, yeah, you know, Anik's not here, sorry, yada, yada. Anyways, long story short, he's like, "Listen, when you get home, you tell him he needs to call me. I need to talk to him right away. I've got a big opportunity. I want him to meet all the top Bollywood stars in India. I have access to all of them." So you can imagine my reaction when my business partner came back and told me, and he said, "Hey, this guy, here you go. I'm just delivering a message, phone number, email. He says you can meet Shah Rukh Khan and all the big actors." Now, let me tell you something about an actor named Shah Rukh Khan. He is voted by People magazine as one of the most powerful 25 people in the world, above and beyond Oprah. He is big fish. People wait outside his house for sometimes days just waiting for him to come on his balcony and wave. He is a big deal in India. And so when I was told this, I thought, I've heard it all before. Yeah, right. Didn't pay any attention to it. Suddenly, my email started blowing up, and he's like, "Hey, I told your business partner to tell you, you didn't call me. What's up?" And I'm like, all right, this guy's really starting to get on my last nerve now. This is enough of this. So I ignored, again, message. So I said, "You know what, dude? If you're for real, come down to D.C. and meet me and tell me face-to-face what we can do together." 3 days later, "Can you come pick me up at the Amtrak station? I'm in D.C. I go out to pick him up. He comes into my office. He puts me on the phone with some very apparently big people. And I just, you know, I had an office in Mumbai. I used to go to Mumbai all the time already, so it wasn't a big risk for me. I said, "You know what? I'm going to give you a shot. Sure. Let's do this. Let's go hang out and dine with Shah Rukh Khan. Sure, why don't we? I'll be in Mumbai in January. Why don't you set that up?" And he's like, "Hey, Dr. Shah Rukh Khan will meet this person, that person, this person, that person." I said, yeah, sure, why not? Ladies and gentlemen, I went to India. First of all, I booked my ticket and everything, and I can't really get a hold of him towards the end. I said, whatever. I went to Mumbai. I checked into my hotel, and there I am, and I'm like, "Hello? Where's my Shah Rukh Khan meeting?" I don't hear anything. I wake up the morning that I potentially am supposed to meet him. My phone rings. I pick up. "Hey, buddy, you ready?" I'm like, "Who's this?" He's like, "It's me. Are you ready? We're going right now." I was like, "Dude, are you serious? This is for real? Like, holy shit, I don't have any, like, I'd have to put a suit on. I don't know what to do." And he's like, "Get ready. I'm going to be there in 15 minutes. I get into a car. We drive. Surely enough, I'm looking. We're pulling up to this guy's house. Gates open. I walk in. Red carpet treatment. "Oh, Mr. Singhal, please come with us. Come with us." Walk right into the library. 2 minutes later, in walks Shah Rukh Khan. And I am telling you, I was like, this shit is really happening. We hung out for 2 hours. We watched YouTube videos together. We chilled, and I thought, life is crazy. I got to hang out with him again. I went to dinner at his house later on, and I'm going to tell you something really funny. I went to use the guy's bathroom. He had a golden toilet. It was a toilet made of gold. And I sat on that toilet. And I texted every friend of mine and I said, "I am taking a piss in Shah Rukh Khan's bathroom." How many of you all could say that? What? And we went on and we had the most amazing week of my life. I met the biggest people. I have now met some of the biggest celebrities in the world. I have met some of the most powerful people in the world because of this gentleman. He hangs out with them, he dines with them, he chills with them, and he acts like it's the most simplest thing in the world. He flew here in first class cabin. I've not had a chance to do that yet. Air Emirates, and he's just texting me, "Yeah, buddy, I'm sitting on a private cabin." I'm like, man, you know? Messages me, says, "Hey, can I come a day later? And I'm really sorry. I got to go hang out with Paris Hilton and the Sheikh of Dubai and you know, this person and that person." And I'm like, dude, I hate you, right? He knows how to network. He knows how to meet people. And now he is here to help us learn the same thing. He is here to help make us a master in any niche you want, to make you a known brand and make you get connected with the top people. He has really added 7 figures to my business by helping me learn how to connect with people. It is an honor, it is a pleasure, and I'm telling you, you guys are about to be blown away. How many of you want to make 7 figures in here? You want to make 7 figures? Then you need to stand up right now and help me welcome John Tallarico to this stage.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here. As Onyx said, I called him on Tuesday, said, I'm going to be a day late. I have to go to Dubai. Do you mind? He's like, you'll never make it. I said, don't worry, I promise. I landed in Dubai on Friday morning, 8 o'clock. Saturday morning at 8 a.m., I was back on a plane, 16 hours to Los Angeles yesterday. Got in yesterday afternoon, so very happy to be here. So in the next 60 minutes or so, I want to give you some steps and some things that I've used and continue to use to really build a global empire. Let me ask you first all a question. How many of you would like to learn some of these steps I've used to manifest and build a network of millionaires and billionaires around the world in several different niches? Raise your hand. All right, good, good, good. That's what we're going to do. So over the last 4.5 years, I've really gone from nothing to this. My office is now in the Empire State Building. I have a 10,000 square foot office on the 66th floor. I travel the world in private jet and business class, and I've had the most amazing life. Let me see. All right, so I have half the 66th floor. My business partner is one of the biggest names in music. I don't know if many of you heard of Akon, but that's my business partner. We have half the 66th floor. The other half is a guy maybe some of you have seen on Shark Tank, is Damon and Fubu are on the other half. The network, my network over the last few years has also allowed me to travel to 17 different countries on 5 continents. I've been invited and attended some of the most exclusive events and gone to some of the most amazing locations in the world. I've met prime ministers, presidents, ambassadors. I've been able to consult for, and I've partnered with a billionaire brand out of India called Venky's, who actually bought one of the English Premier League teams. I've been able to sit there in the owner's box. That was the day that we watched them beat Manchester United. I also partnered and consulted last year with a billionaire brand out of the United Kingdom called Leica Mobile. And this is one of my most proud accomplishments last year. Within 6 weeks, I was able to put together a deal with Leica Mobile, and I became co-owner of a professional sports franchise team, cricket team in the Caribbean. Thank you. What I'm going to show you in a few minutes, and I'll go quick, has allowed me to meet some of the top in numerous different niches, in music, in film, fashion, sport. And I'm showing you all this not to impress you guys, but to really inspire you guys, to let you know what's possible. All this that you've seen here has been done in the last 4.5 years, from nothing. 4.5 years ago, I was outright broke, and we'll get into that in a minute. As you've heard all weekend long, Bob Proctor talk about multiple streams of income. Anik talks about multiple streams of income. This is the exact model that I use. I just finished producing 2 films. I have an online radio station that's launching in the next couple of weeks. And I have a 3rd film that I'm producing with the director from The Secret, Drew Harriott, which hopefully will be out next year. You see, what happened is I discovered, everyone used to come up to me and ask me, John, how do you do this? How do you network with all these people? And when I sat down and thought about it, I really came up with this idea that there was an exact art and a science to networking. And that when you use these two together, you can combine them to make and create one of the most powerful networks beyond your wildest dreams. That's I'm new at this PowerPoint, so I'm happy to see that worked out. So, I don't have time to go into this, but I also created my own special formula for networking, which, secret formula. We can get into that another time. I have too much other stuff to cover, but this, I have a book that I'm working on with Anik, and this will be in that, and then we can explain that in more detail later on. So, networking. Interacting with other people to exchange information and develop contacts, especially to further one's career. Exchange information, not suck and steal, connive, but to exchange information, mutual exchange. All right? Let me show you and tell you a little bit about what networking is. It's about who you know, and the more people that you know, the greater diversity you have, the more successful you'll be. It's about helping other people achieve their goals. It's about who knows what it is that you need to know. It's about what you know and your expertise and your unique skills. It's about making sure others see you as the expert. And it's about making yourself visible. There's none better than Anik at getting his brand out there and getting you all here today at this event. It's about also building multiple streams of income. Networking is not even working. Okay. It's not about collecting the most business cards, going home, and adding me to your mailing list. I don't need any more weight loss products. I don't need any local singles that are maybe interested in me. I don't want to smoke any e-cigarettes. And if I want to make money from home, the only email that I want to see in my inbox better have Anik Singh's name next to it, all right? All right. It's not about, like I said, adding to the mailing list. It's not about selling yourself to everyone that you meet. So many times, always people have a hidden agenda when they come up and meet somebody. What do? It's not about being pushy or aggressive, or selfish or one-sided, hunting for more customers or looking for a job. It's not about how many friends have liked you on Facebook, not how many connections you have on LinkedIn. That's not going to get you to where you want to be. So let me back up just a minute and give you a quick background of who I am and where I came from. I was born and raised in a small little town outside of Flint, Michigan, blue-collar town. Yeah, all right, there you go. My dad started working at General Motors when he was 17. He worked on the assembly line for the next 45 years, and he just retired a couple years ago. I almost died at age 5. My parents were divorced at age 7. And now back then, not a lot of people got divorced. So it was kind of a traumatic experience for me. We were on food stamps. I even had to get free lunch at school. But for me, I always was determined to find a way to get out of this so that I didn't have to end up like this. So I didn't have to see my parents go through the hard times that we went through. And so for me, luckily, school was my escape. So I made sure that I did very well in school so that I could get out of it, my situation that I was in. So by 21, I had graduated from the University of Michigan. By age 23, I had an MBA from the University of Southern California. And I moved out west and stayed out west. Now, Anik said, John, look, everyone comes and shares, but I want you really to give us 2 secrets that you never talk about, that nobody really knows about you. I said, Anik, you sure? He says, yeah, please just make yourself vulnerable. It's a great crowd. People have spent a lot of time, a lot of money to come here, so please just be open and honest with them. So, here it goes. I actually invented the first mobile phone. If you see the phone sitting right there, that phone went with me everywhere I went. And I was very mobile at that age. So, second thing is, this is not me. All right? So, Anik, that's for you. All right, let's fast forward quickly to 2007. I started hearing about this guy named Bob Proctor and this movie called The Secret and the Law of Attraction. First thing I thought is, oh, great. My grandfather's name is Proctor, so maybe this guy Bob and I are related somehow. I actually got to meet Bob later on, and unfortunately we are not related. But I started hearing about this stuff called manifesting, mindset, residual income, the 4-hour work week. And with all my traveling, I thought, boy, this is really perfect for me. Building a residual income, and this thing called internet marketing kept coming up. And I kept seeing this guy's name, Anik Singhal, everywhere. So I thought to myself, I want to investigate a little bit more. So I started taking some of these webinars. I started buying some of these classes, going to some of these seminars. And I actually started attending some of these live events, just like this one. I would sit in the very back row back there, not know anybody. And then, little by little, I'd start to put myself out there. I'd start to meet people. Everyone in this room next to you is a potential business partner. They're the next Onyx Segal, the next Bob Proctor. You don't know. Don't ever assume or prejudge people. You just never know. And what happened is I started volunteering. I would start to get to know these speakers. And I would start to come up and ask them, is there anything I can do for you? And I started volunteering, and then next thing you know, I was asked by one of the more powerful speakers back in the time if I would be interested in moving to Texas and becoming the president of his company. So in early 2009, that's what I did. Shortly thereafter, he started reneging on our deal. And when I started pressing him on honoring his agreement and paying me my money, I received this text. This was on December 1st, 2009, 24 days before Christmas. 3 weeks I was given to vacate the premises. I was homeless, jobless, and broke. Literally, I'd hit rock bottom. That is, for the record, that is not my bottom. So, it was a little bit, this really kind of, threw me for a loop. I was very depressed, really down and out. This was my home, was now the La Quinta Inn. My car was a U-Haul with my stuff in it. And my closest friends and business meetings were now being held at Starbucks. I realized that at this time I had to do something. I had to take a cold, hard look at myself and where I was at in my life and decide if this is where I wanted to be for the rest of my life, or did I want to make a change. I realized that I was down, but I was not defeated. There's no way I was going to give up. So what I decided to do was realize that the current connections that I had and the people that were in my life at this time were not serving me. Jim Rohn, I believe, talks about the value of your 5 closest friends. I think at that time, that added up to about $100. And I think it was $100 I loaned these guys. So I realized I had to make some changes. I also realized that I kept putting my life on hold. If only this happened, then I'll do this. Waiting for other people to determine my fate and my future. I realized Les Brown talks about upgrading your friends because the ones you have now are downgrading your life. Right? So I started to take action. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I had to do something. Anything. And this actually leads me into the first step. And as soon as I made that decision in my mind that I was going to be different, that I was going to change, I was going to choose to act differently, the universe started delivering amazing opportunities and wonderful people into my life. And this is step 1, the law of motion. I have a mentor and a coach from Vancouver named Philip McKiernan. He says, in the absence of clarity, just take action. I had no clue what I wanted to do, but I knew I needed to do something. All my friends, I talked to Anik, a few other people, they all said the same thing. Just do something. Stop waiting on everyone else. I had to realize my life was not a DVR. I couldn't put it on pause and then come back to it when it was convenient. Let me see here. Step number 2 is the law of clarity. I realized that no one was going to come help and do this for me. That I had to become 100% responsible for everything in my life. No more excuses. I had to change my mindset, as I said. No more being the victim and blaming everyone else for my circumstances. I had to figure out what was my passion and what was my purpose. And I had to realize that there were no accidents in the world, just experiences. This is something that I'm sure most of you are familiar with Dr. John Demartini. A very quick, short exercise that helped me realize what it is I was really passionate about. Once you figure that out, then you can channel that into pursuing something that will reward you and that is very fulfilling. So I struggle all the time, but I don't know what I'm passionate about. Do you follow your passion? Do you follow the money? So what he said is, if I were to walk into your office, if I were to walk into your home, where you spend the most amount of time, what are the 3 things that I will find? So for me, it was my passports, suitcase, my laptop computer, and a bunch of different business deals. And what that showed me was that I can travel the world, meet amazing people, and get paid handsomely to do it. And it clicked. And this was a very powerful, very short exercise that helped me get laser focused. Step number 3. You've heard other people talk about it this weekend, the law of infinite possibilities. For me, anything is possible. If I could go from 4.5 years of sitting in that back row to standing up here on stage today, then you know anything is possible. That was about a month ago. I was in a local Target. That's my movie that I produced behind me on the rack there. No longer, with the way the world is today, do I believe in the 6 degrees of separation. I believe more in something that I've called 2 people removed. I have a mindset that I can get to anybody, anywhere in this world through 2 people. Either I know someone who knows somebody who knows them, or someone else knows them and I can get to them. So you have to have that mindset. You have to be persistent and fearless. And like I said, never prejudge. I want to just share something that happened yesterday, and I won't embarrass this guy. He's in the room today. I arrived yesterday afternoon, and I was met by a gentleman at Baggage Claim. And we started talking. He told me he actually wasn't even supposed to be the one who was picking me up yesterday. And I said, okay, well, I appreciate it. I was very tired. I'd flown 16.5 hours, another hour and a half to get here from Los Angeles. And he said, where are you going? I told him this event. He said, oh, you mean the one with Bob Proctor? I said, yeah, that one. And he says, oh, with Onyx Singal. I just sent him a message today on Facebook. I said, okay. And I said, yeah, that's the one I'm going to. I'm speaking at that event. He says, I have Bob right here on my phone. I listen to him every day. I went to Millionaire Mindset a couple weeks ago. I said, okay, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. How are things going? Good. My wife doesn't always understand. And I said to him, driving here, I said, I want you to go home and tell your wife that this is how this works. This is how the law of attraction works. Tomorrow, you're going to come to the Rio. I'm going to introduce you to Bob Proctor, and you're going to meet Onyx Singal. And so he's here today, and anything is possible, anything and everything. So now that you've decided to take some action, you got a little bit of clarity. You chose to have the mindset that anything in the world is possible. Now you got to start setting some goals, right? So there are seminars and courses that span a whole weekend, whole months, years on goal setting. We won't get into that today. But what you also need to do is you need to prepare what I call your mental battle armor. Because the minute you make that choice to go down this path and pursue what you want, the people and the negative naysayers are going to come out of the woodwork. Family and friends telling you you're crazy. Telling you why you're doing that. Why you're wasting your time. Why you're wasting your money. And I can guarantee you, if you look at their lives, they're miserable. So, for me, there's 2 different types of battles you're going to find. You're going to have internal battles. And like Bob Proctor told you yesterday, your goals should scare you a little bit, but it should excite you a lot. You know, all know about setting smart goals. Ask for help. Also, keep yourself accountable. That's one of the great things that was offered in Onyx, 2 different programs yesterday. He gives you the support. He gives you the group, the private Facebook group. He's got an amazing team that's there to help you so that you don't feel alone. You got to be able to fight off what I call the 5 families. It's not the mafia, but it's fear, negativity, doubt, failure, and blame. Because these are all going to start coming. The committee will start speaking to you in your head. So you need to do whatever it takes to guard yourself. If you have to, call Jon Snow. If he's not on Game of Thrones, maybe he can come help you. Hold on about the challenge. We'll get to that in a minute. Externally, avoid what I call the 3 C's. Cell phone, computer, CNN. The absolute worst way to start your day. I can't tell you how many times I get approached by different people about wanting me to do this deal and do that deal. You have to be guarded. You have to be focused and do not allow yourself to get too many distractions. Right? Stay focused and avoid what I call WMDs. Who know what WMDs are? Wrong. Mass distraction. Avoid Facebook, Twitter, all these other things. When used properly, and when, social media is a great tool to leverage your business when used properly. But I can't tell you how many people spend time wasting away chatting on Facebook, Twitter, and all this other stuff. So what I want to do is I want to challenge you tomorrow to start your day off differently. Put the cell phone away. Don't put it by the bed. I know you guys do. Don't put it by the bed. Turn it off. Don't turn on the TV first thing in the morning. And don't turn on your laptop. Do something positive, whether it be take 5 minutes out and meditate. Write out your goals for the day. Make a list of 7 things that you're going to do tomorrow that are going to lead you to where you want to be. Just 7. Anything more than 7 is too much. Get those 7 things done tomorrow, and you'll see how good you feel about yourself. Then you can go turn on the cell phone. But I used to be addicted to the cell phone. I know there's people in here sitting here checking their cell phone right now. Trust me, there's nothing that you're going to miss. But there is something you're going to miss if you're not paying attention up here and to all the speakers that Onyx brought here this weekend. Step number 5, the law of conduct. This really comes down to your core values. How you conduct your business says a lot. You operate with integrity. There are no shortcuts. You keep your word. Loyalty and honesty. There was no way I was not going to show up this weekend. I gave Anik my word I would be here. And when this other opportunity presented itself, I found a way to make sure I was able to do both. Make sure you value your relationships over money. Trust your intuition. Remember, your reputation takes years to build and can be lost in an instant. Step number 6, the law of value creation. When you're networking, so many people go to other people and they think, oh, gee, what can they do for me? But it's those individuals that ask, what can I give first, that are going to get the furthest. Go with no agenda. Be unselfish. Ask questions deeper than, what do you do? Because the only reason you're asking what do you do is to see if they can be of any benefit to you. So go beyond that. Know what they want so that you can help them achieve their goals. Be a problem solver. I love it when people tell me, oh, this can't be done. I thrive under that. You show me a problem, I will get it solved. Yesterday when I was on a very short connection from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. I wanted to get here. I didn't want to miss Bob's speech. Our plane was taking off at 3:55. At 3:30, they said the flight attendants aren't in. So I'm really not one to be quiet. So I went up to the flight agent at the gate. I said, well, why don't you find some other flight attendants, or I'm going to bill you $200 fee for inconvenience, the same as you charge me, every time I have to change my ticket. So I said, why don't you get some others that can help pre-board so we're all sitting on the plane at least. So next thing you know, supervisor came over and they were able to grab some other people and they loaded the plane up for us so that when the other flight attendants arrived, we left on time. So also remember, the value doesn't always have to be financial. There's a lot of other ways you can add value to people. Step number 7 is what I call the law of being unique. Be different. This is something that my uncle taught me about 30 years ago. He taught me a thing called little things for big buyers at the time when I was in sales. And what he said basically was, you try to use all your 5 senses. But when you go to meet a customer, or when you're meeting somebody new as a client, observe, look around, see what's on their desk, look on the wall, listen to what things excite them, what is interesting to them. Do your homework. I don't know how many of you here did this, but before the event, Onyx sent out a list of the speakers. How many of you actually took the time to research the speakers, see what they do, know a little bit about them before you got here? This is a key. With the internet these days, you can find out anything about anybody. Probably too much. But you got to be prepared. So you do your research. Know the event. Know what's the purpose of the event. Remember first impressions, so you got to be ready. Study other cultures. We've got a global audience here. There's people from all over the world. One thing I do is, that's how I met Anik. I knew Anik was a leader in the industry, in that space that I wanted to get in. And by following Anik and learning about Anik, I knew that he liked 2 things for sure. The guy is a fanatic about Iron Man. He's obsessed. And he loves Bollywood. So that's why when I went to the event where Anik was supposed to be at, I knew that one thing I could do was something that I had to offer him that meant a lot to him. You also need to create a system for keeping in touch with your contacts. And you should really divide your contacts into 3 different levels. Obviously, A, B, and C. Don't abuse the contacts, but keep in touch with them. So this is just a quick little exercise. What's one little thing you can do for one of your big contacts? So for example, I have a lot of clients, a lot of friends that are very wealthy individuals, billionaires. They can buy and get whatever they want. So immediately I think, well, what can I give them that they can't already buy? So what I do, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine in India, I know that he loves Krispy Kreme donuts. So whenever he invites me over to India, or when I fly to Zurich or London to meet him, I stop off because they don't have Krispy Kreme in India. Actually, I think they do now, but at the time they didn't. So I'll go down to the grocery store and I'll grab a couple boxes and I'll take them with me. It's those little things that make you different. It's knowing that Anik loves Bollywood. Step number 8, the law of bettering yourself, which applies to everyone in this room. That's why you're here. That's why Anik is here. That's why he's giving you a platform and an audience this weekend with some of the most amazing speakers in the world. Always be improving, always be connecting. Some of you know this guy here. You want mentors and experts, coaches. Read books, webinars, seminars, the internet. Mentorship programs. Step number 9, what I call the law of reciprocity. This is a friend of mine on the left behind President Clinton there, named Bill Austin. Bill is a billionaire. You will never know it. He's founded a company called Starkey Hearing Foundation. He travels the world on his own dime, giving the gift of hearing to hundreds of thousands of people around the world. He's made it his goal and his commitment to make sure 1 million people hear this decade. I've been fortunate enough to build a relationship with him. And I've also volunteered with a couple of different organizations. I was able to get a friend of mine, Lennox Lewis, to come down to the Dominican Republic with me. We were there for 3 days. He came, no charge, said, how can I help? We sat there and we did 9,000 kids that weekend, gave them the hearing aid. Most of them heard for the first time in their life. No greater experience than that. You heard Anik talk about his mission. Thanks. You heard Anik talk about his mission for stuff he's doing in India. You heard Bob Proctor talk last night about what he's doing in Africa, building schools. This actually was just kind of a funny slide. It was mostly kids that weekend, but they played a joke on me and brought me over and said, okay, here, you need to fit this person for a hearing aid. And I turned around, and that is a 90-year-old nun. I was very nervous. And luckily, I speak Spanish, so I asked her if she would maybe call upstairs and give me a few bonus points. So, one other great thing about having wonderful connections with very wealthy people around the world is that you can actually activate those connections to help out. I was able to use my connection in India to fund and pay for all the hotels, all the food, for a mission that Mr. Austin did in India. They did over 30,000 kids that month in India. And every weekend you will find this guy in a different country around the world. So it's important that you remember to give back. We're all very blessed. Everybody in this room. We complain and whine about so much, but we have so much to be grateful for. Everybody in this room is a lot better off than a lot of people are this morning. They didn't wake up. So it's important that you have this attitude, which is this law of enthusiasm. You need to love what you do and do what you love. If you follow this and not worry about the money will come. This attitude of gratitude. The song you heard earlier, Work Hard, Play Hard. That was do and enjoy life. Friends, family, experiences. Sorry. My dogs there, they're very big Italian supporters. Whoa, where did my thing go? So, okay, about 20 minutes. So, in about 8.5 hours from now, something amazing is going to happen. The clock is going to strike midnight. And guess what? We all get the same. We're all going to start off even. 86,400 seconds tomorrow. Bob Proctor's not getting any bonus seconds because he's done so much for mankind. Onyx Segal's not getting any extra seconds. None of us are. So we all start on an even playing field tonight at midnight. So the question really comes down to, what are you going to choose to do differently tomorrow? And after this weekend, there really, in my mind, you have three choices. You can leave here and say, oh, it wasn't for me, and blah, 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 and your life will probably get a little worse. You can keep doing a little bit of what you're doing. Go to this seminar, stop. Go to this seminar, stop. Your life will probably stay the same. Or you can do what a large number of people did in this room, which was break through their terrier barrier, as Bob talked about last night, trusted in Anik, signed up for his mentorship program, invested in themselves. Stop listening to all the excuses of why they can't do something. It costs too much. I don't have this money. Trust me, when you want something, you'll find a way. When that new cell phone comes out, you'll make excuses and justify why you can get it or why you need that new car. But what happens when it comes to justifying why you need to invest in yourself? So I am hopeful that you will choose this path. I know you will. That will lead you to fulfill all your dreams. So I hope I've shared a little bit with you guys. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But I'm glad I was able to make it. Thank you very much all for your time. And that's it.
All right, everybody, a little bit louder for my friend John.